Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on the film The Suicide Squad. Now, as you know, The Suicide Squad film is a 2021 superhero film, as well as being a standalone sequel to the 2016 film Suicide Squad and the 10th film in the DC Extended Universe. Now, keep in mind that this film, The Suicide Squad, was written and directed by James Gunn, who gave us stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy and Brightburn. And keep in mind that his film is meant to draw inspiration from war films, as well as John Ostrander's 1980s comic run of The Suicide Squad. Now, the premise of the film is meant to feature Amanda Waller assembling two Task Force X teams, also known as the Suicide Squad, to infiltrate Corto Maltese and to take down a Nazi-era laboratory project known as Jotham, as well as dealing with the anti-American regime there. We see how Rick Flag's Suicide Squad film gets taken down so easily, and we kind of see how Bloodsport and his surviving members, which consists of Peacemaker, who is maybe more like a more all-American counterpart of Bloodsport, King Shark, who is the sort of dumb but lovable one, Polka Dot Man, who is the shy but kind of meek member, and Ratcatcher 2, who's maybe the young kid member. And I would say, in my opinion, Bloodsport definitely works as a great foil to Peacemaker. Like, you can tell there's lines he won't cross. He does have a bit of a moral compass to him, and wouldn't really go as far as Peacemaker would. And throughout the film, we see how it's kind of implied that Amanda Waller is looking for a replacement for Deadshot, and it's kind of implied that she's seeing Peacemaker and Bloodsport as two potential rivals to fill in the slot. And we do see how Amanda Waller's kind of IA team do have a bit more of a conscience than she does, as there are lines that Amanda Waller is willing to cross, and you can tell that they aren't the ones that are gonna go crossing it. And I would also say that having Bloodsport have a daughter sort of works, but feels like a poor replacement to Zoe. I think what made Zoe work in the DC Comics, as well as the film Suicide Squad, was that she was meant to help Deadshot be the kind of bringing out his kinder side, and also as the one good thing he had left in his life. I think the thing is, I know originally Idris Elba was meant to be cast as Deadshot, but the character was changed so Will Smith could revive his role, which I can kind of understand. And I kind of feel the film does take a lot more inspiration from the 1980s film Commando, given the fact you've got the same premise. Character goes to a foreign country, takes down hordes of enemies, guns and all, and so much. And I think for the most part, I would say, as well, I think, well, the 2016 Suicide Squad film wasn't bad, and I think a lot of DC film critics, as well as hardcore fans, put it to impossible standards. I think James Gunn's run on the Suicide Squad is kept the same, but instead going with more bloods and gore, as well as showing that the members can die so easily. So you know he's not going to spare Captain Boomerang, Javelin, Rick Flag, and so many others. Basically, James Gunn knows that this Suicide Squad isn't supposed to kind of be band together as much. They are going to be cutthroats, mercenaries, and so on, but there are some of the members that do have a heart. And keep in mind, in the comics and the 2016 film, Suicide Squad film, we did see the Suicide Squad members stick together, did show signs that they weren't really evil, but knew how to be to stick together like a team. And I know there's also a Peacemaker spin-off TV series that is meant to have John Cena in the starring role along with Vigilante. And I think for the most part I would say the Suicide Squad film does work. If you're a fan of, say, the Arnold Schwarzenegger film Commando, then this is your movie. So I think for the most part the Suicide Squad film definitely keeps true to what the first film was, as well as the comics. So I think it definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.